Okay, welcome to our meeting tonight. We got a big schedule to go through, but the first thing we have to do is call a general meeting of the Mission Grove Neighborhood Alliance, because we have to do a vote in order to get our access to our nonprofit and so on. So we need to add some language to our general charter, or basically our bylaws. And so Warren's going to come up and direct us through that and take that vote. He's our secretary and parliamentarian, and then he will read the changes we're making, and we'll make that vote very quickly and then move on.
All right, good evening. Can everyone hear me? We're all good? Okay. So, we, the MGNA, the board, we are pursuing nonprofit status. We want to be a nonprofit organization that allows us to apply for grants and do a whole variety of other things that help to raise money that we can use to educate the neighborhoods that we serve. So that seems like something we can all get behind. However, in order for us to do that, we have to amend our bylaws with some specific language. To do that, we have to declare annual business meetings, because all the voting members get to vote on bylaw changes. That's a feature, not a bug. You don't want the board randomly changing the bylaws, right, at board meetings. So, now, we already have some voting members, and I understand that some new voting members may have signed up in the back. The current voting members, and if you're here, listen for your name, because you are the ones that get to vote on this tonight. That's Lewis Allen, Larry Aveling, Rita Bean, Bill Clark, Lauren Dean, Jim Dunker, Jay Dyer, Brian Kerr, Raylene Lawrence, Becky Alobri, Tiny Runyard, Judy Schumacher Pronovost, Jeff Scott, Roylene Scott, and Mike Ball. That's the current voting member roster right now. Do we have any more from the back that have signed up just now?
I did like 4 months ago.
Oh, did you?
Kathy voted aye.
Oh, that figures that we haven't got that wrote down. Wait,
John Farnsworth.
John Farnsworth. Yeah, you should definitely be there. You're here on the board.
And he's the secretary.
Blame on me. Yeah, I'm the secretary. Okay. All right, so I have John Farnsworth. Okay. Well, if you are a voting member, we know that is so. Get with me at the end of the meeting tonight. Let's make sure that we have your information where it needs to be. You all know who you are. So, what is before us tonight is that we are looking to add a single provision to the bylaws. This is going to go in the section that goes with mission statement, where we talk about how our purpose is to educate the community and that sort of thing. We also, in our mission statement, indicate that we are a nonpartisan group. That's the second section. We are adding a third section here, which is the nonprofit section. It will read like this. The MGNA is a nonprofit public benefit corporation and is not organized for the private gain of any person. It is organized under the Nonprofit Public Mutual Religious Benefit Corporation law for charitable 501c3 or public 501c4 purposes. That's what we're adding to the bylaws, just so that that's clear. That allows our treasurer, Mike, to then go ahead and file paperwork and get all that rolling, because of course there's bureaucracy with all of that. So does everyone understand what's before us here tonight? Questions? Oh, thanks. All right. So that being the case, all right, you who are voting members, you know who you are. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, any opposed, please raise your hand. All right, excellent, that's unanimous. Oh, we did that so well. Thank you all. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, so I'll get that into the bylaws. Those will get published out. If you want to see the bylaws, get with me after the meeting. Let me have your email, and I'll get you a link where you can view them online. So, there we go. Thank you very much.
She's got a QR code.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren. Okay, moving on. Mission Grove, here's the area that we cover and all the surrounding neighborhoods. We're going to be talking about a couple of the surrounding neighborhoods tonight. We need to thank Henry Paris Country Club. They donate the facility to us, don't charge us to use it. We're grateful for that. Meals and drinks in the bar till 6:30. If you're not getting our emails, please sign up and make sure that we get your name. for that, because that's important. And make sure you tell your neighbors or anyone else to try to get their emails so they can at least get our notices and things that are going on, because we're going to have more petitions and other things as we move forward. $12 a year for the voting member, of course you've heard of that. And the meeting rules: respect one another, raise your hand if you want to speak, email us if there's any questions afterwards. So tonight's program, we're going to do some general updates and news. We're going to talk about the Haverden fire, 500 plus acres, 6 plus structures destroyed. There's a public meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Orange Crest Center. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Sycamore Highlands Park. We went to the meeting there that the city had with Councilmember Cervantes about the off-street parking. Has been a big issue with that park. Anybody here from Sycamore Canyon? Okay, great. When we get into that, we'll encourage you guys to speak up about that and what's been going on with that. And we're going to have more on that in the months to come. So we're going to talk about that. Bill Kester's here from the Councilwoman's office. He's the field rep. He's going to talk. We're going to hear from a new group, Engage Riverside, which has been organized for the small farmers in Riverside. And Audrey's going to be here to talk about that. She's the president of that group. And we're excited about that because they got involved in the fruit fly issue that was going on with the farmers. And we, of course, got involved in that and created a paper and did a lot of investigation on that. So we're very thankful that they've been created, and we hope to link up with them and do some good things. And then, of course, we're going to spend quite a bit of time on the Kmart apartment update and our strategy moving forward now that the City Council had it on the consent calendar, and they basically just voted it through on the consent calendar for December 3rd. So we're going to talk about our strategy moving forward on that. And we've got a few other things that we'll talk about in the updates. Our next meeting will be October 9th. That'll be our candidates night. We're going to have the 2 candidates for county supervisor, Roth and Medina, and one of the candidates for Congress, David Serpa, is going to be here. We've invited our current Congressman, Takano, but he has not responded yet. So that's the schedule. So, general meetings. We have a battery bucket. Is there a battery bucket here? Somewhere. We've got a battery bucket. So anyone with lithium batteries especially, put them in the battery bucket. We learned when we took the tour of the recycling center that those lithium batteries explode and cause fires. They burned down one facility in Anaheim a couple of years ago to the ground, and they're still rebuilding it. And if they blow up in the trucks, they basically have to dump all the trash in the street so the truck doesn't catch on fire, and we've had a couple of those incidents. Yes?
I forgot to bring mine. Will you have this again next month?
Every month.
Yes, but there'll be a charge next month. No, you'll have to bring a good battery along with a bad battery. So, yeah, we will have it.
Thank you.
Another question.
Yeah.
Did it take off the bottom of the battery or anything like that?
You can tape off the connectors so that they don't, touch something else. So just put some tape across the connectors. But other than that, just bring them the way they are. They just don't want them being crushed in the systems, or what happens is the lithium batteries get hot, and when they get hot, they explode. And so it's kind of like titanium. Titanium is a great material. It's very light and very strong, but if titanium gets hot enough, it catches on fire and burns like magnesium. So, I know, I used to work in a machine shop. We made aircraft bolts, and when the shaver caught the part wrong and burned through it, it caught fire and poof, went right to the ceiling. We had to have a fire extinguisher with every machine in order to work with titanium. So, we're still getting our signs stolen. We've had 5 or 6 signs stolen now. One right after we put it up the other day. I'm going to check with the lieutenant to see maybe if one of their cameras would pick it up. It was right across from the connection on Alessandro, right near the mall, where the road comes out. We had it right across where the big yellow barriers are, and we put it down that night, and it was gone the next day. And we've been putting it up there for over a year. So we don't know what's going on, but somebody, I don't know why, somebody wouldn't like us. But I can't think of why that would be. The RPU underground wire lines, we've had the petition on that. We still have the petition posted. If you know anyone that signed that, because we're putting videos together and going to do a big campaign on that citywide for the undergrounding, and then we want to get several thousand signatures so we can go directly to the governor's office, because he's been a big proponent of putting the wiring underground, and so we want to get a bunch of signatures for that. So if you know anyone that hasn't signed up on that petition, please encourage them to. Omeo, electric cars. Remember the electric car, self-propelled? We signed a deal in November. The city council, we were supposed to have a new car in 6 months. Well, I've been calling them in New Zealand and sending them emails, and I finally got an update. They rented a facility in Riverside in June, and they're gearing up to hopefully deliver, I guess, a car sometime the end of the year. So we're still hopeful with that. And the city did go out, they signed an agreement for $2.5 million. They did go out and get some money from some other groups, like $1.5 million of that they donated into it from grants that they got, so that helped offset some of the $2.5 million that we got for that. So we're still anxious to get a tour of that facility once it opens and gets going. The other one is the Sci-Fi fiber optic. I don't know if you remember that. We talked about Sci-Fi had come in and offered the city to put in free fiber optics all over, and they had this plan to put in place. We went to one of the meetings in Ward 5 and kind of asked them about, well, who's funding this project, because it's going to take several years and, you know, a lot of money to put this in before you start getting any money back. And they said, well, it's from pension funds in England. Because they are basically a company of a shell company of a shell company of a shell company that goes back to England. So anyway, we got an update on that operation, and they basically put a hold on it because costs have gone up. So they're reconfiguring it and reanalyzing it, and they hope to have a new proposal for the committee and for the city council at the end of the year. So that might be one of those deals that was too good to be true in the beginning. So the March APA warehouses, you probably saw, are now just sent out an email today asking people to respond. There's new warehouses going in Paris. I can't believe it. If you look up the map, there's a whole residential community right beside it, and now they want to take these 40 acres and turn them into warehouses, and it was zoned residential. It's the county doing it this time, and not one of the cities. It's right outside the city of Paris. So if you've got that email from Arnow, you want us to forward to us, you want to send something to them, let us know.
I saw an article in the Press Enterprise yesterday about some bill that just passed the legislature that lengthens the distance between warehousing and residential neighborhoods. It also needs to be on arterial roads.
Right.
And this is, I think the building Newsom signed yet, but it has passed the legislature. Does that going to affect any of that stuff?
Actually, Mike can talk to that.
Mike,
The problem with that is
I didn't see
it
Mike.
made it 300 feet, whereas Riverside was 1,000 feet.
Yeah,
So they just shortened it.
the city of Riverside's good neighbor guidelines are much stronger than the ones that they just passed. And they haven't been passed yet, Governor Newsom hasn't signed it yet. The county of Riverside has stronger guidelines than the one that they just passed in the state. And theirs is 300 feet for 200,000 square foot warehouses. This is 300 feet for 250,000 square foot warehouses for the state level one now. It would do nothing for us. It would just put it in place of a weaker standard. Environmental groups and the warehouse developers teamed up to oppose that bill, and we haven't had any success.
So did Richard Roth.
Richard Roth abstained. He did not vote.
I heard him speak today.
Well, he didn't vote when the vote was in front of LACR did, and he's some of our representatives. So he voted against it, but it passed 22-16 in the Senate and like 41. It passed with flying vote in the Senate.
Mike, you want to stand? Do you have any other updates on the warehouses or the?
Any other warehouse updates? We still haven't heard back on the West Campus project. That's silent. They've got 9 months left before they become county-owned. So they've got limited time to try to ram something through. But it's not dead yet. So we're paying close attention. There's the Aviation Gateway Project, which is to have more flights go out of March. It would be 17 cargo flights a day. That's still in the draft EIR phase, or it's going to the, yeah.
But they can do 21,000 flights per year.
Right, it's up to 21,000 flights per year that they permitted as part of the joint use airport. And Supervisor Jeffrey just sent out that interesting email on his monthly update saying that he thinks that, yes, I think that's the big stuff. And there's, I don't know, I mapped warehouses for fun, and there were 25 million square feet of warehouses in Riverside County that came out in Cathedral City, Paris, and a couple other in Mead Valley this month. That were
Wow.
new projects coming through. So
We're the warehouse capital of the world. So we'll keep up on the warehouses. We're connected with R now. If there's anyone needs their email or wants to be forwarded that email to send in those letters to the supervisors, let us know. We also went to the soil contamination meeting that the Air Force Base had. That was outside of March JPA. There was 5 of us there and 9 staff. They really, they went through a PowerPoint, and then they couldn't put up the actual data, the hundreds of pages that they had and the stuff. They had a hard time answering questions and referred us back to the website and the other data that they had. So it was kind of a disappointing meeting. I asked them flat out, they said they were looking for public comments written by a certain date. And I said, look, we've done a bunch of public comments with EIRs and all kinds of stuff. So if you get the public comments and the public comments tell you something that's wrong or isn't right, are you going to change it? That's the answer they gave me. Nothing. They gave me no answer. So the answer to that was nothing, which seems to be kind of the general flavor for most of these government jurisdictions now, is to claim, oh, we have public meetings, we got public comment, we're still going to do what we want. I haven't seen one yet where they've partly taken the public comment. It's very rare where they do it and actually make changes. Now, they delayed the one with 500 people that showed up at the meeting for the March JPA. They delayed the warehouses for West Campus, but it remains to be seen whether they will actually change it. Or are they just going to try to delay it until the 9 months, and then, you know, when the March JPA goes away outside of the base boundaries, then it turns over to the county, and then what do they do?
Exactly.
Because you've got at least one county supervisor that's not coming back. Jeffries is retiring. So we don't know how many changes there'll be come November in the supervisors, so they could definitely be waiting for that change to see who gets elected. So. Okay, so our first update tonight, we have a new update we're hoping to get on a regular basis from the Western Municipal Water District. We have Nydia Doolittle is going to give us an update on what's going on with the Water District. Give her a big hand.
Hi everybody, I'm Nydia Doolittle. We are going to start coming to these meetings, community meetings. It'll either be me or it will either be me. I don't want it to like make a loud noise. It'll either be me or my coworker Melissa. I am new to Western. I've been there 7 months, and we're just kind of ramping up, trying to get to all the community meetings. One of the updates that I do want to stress is making sure that you guys call customer service and update your contact information. Only that way do we have the most current information as far as emails and phone numbers, and that is what we use when there's like an emergency shutdown because there's a leak or any of that sort. And of course, we're always trying to engage with our customers, so that's our primary source on where we get our contact info. And also, if you guys have any topics we're open that you guys want to hear, we're open to hearing what you guys want to hear. We're hoping to get our general manager to come and present at some point, hopefully in the early new year. So we're just excited to start implementing. We've got a full staff now, so we just want to start going to the community meetings and are happy to work with you guys if you guys have any issues or topics. or any type of questions, we're happy to help.
Any questions for her?
Oh,
All right, we got a question. Go ahead.
When is your next meeting on the rate increases bound to come?
So we are ramping up on the rate increases. I believe they're not going to start until the new year. But we'll make sure to keep you guys updated. That's something that's coming in 2025.
I can say out loud, your board is very, very slow with responding to written comments from the public.
Okay.
Very slow. And then they're actually negative coming back to those who ask questions.
Okay, I will report that back. Another question?
Sure, so we're in the city of Riverside, but we're on WMWD Water, and we were just wondering if there's a way to get our rates adjusted downwards to match those of our city of Riverside neighbors, given that we're selling the water to the WMD. We just wanted to see what the progress in that was.
So there's a lot of great questions. Okay, so I don't have the answers for those, but I will get back. Yeah, I'll be sure to report back.
Well, yeah, I actually have some numbers on that I'm working on. The city of Riverside has charged Western Municipal $8.7 million to sell water to us. So, and that's just for 2 years. I'm working on the other years. Once I have all the numbers, we'll make a presentation on that. But yes, looking at that.
Yes, definitely we'll work on getting those questions answered. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much. So it'll either be me or Melissa next month, and I'll make sure she has these questions so that we can probably provide some kind of explanation for all of that. So yeah, happy to be here and report back for you guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will let you all know that recently the Western Water Leaders Certificate Program started up again. They have 6 people in that, people from the colleges and from other, and I got asked to participate in it because of our group. So I'm going to get fully indoctrinated and baptized in water. Including going on a tour of how the water comes from Oroville Dam down to us, physically. We're going to go up there, spend 3 days, and follow the water back.
A raft ride.
A raft ride, exactly. And it's, yeah, bring your own life vest. So, okay, so now we're going to get an update from the police department, Lieutenant Merrill and CSO Hallie. Give us an update on what's going on with the police department.
Hello, everyone. Hope I don't mess this up. I usually do.
Just take it off.
There we go. All right. Couple updates for you guys started real quick. I am Lieutenant Randy Merrill. I am the area commander for the East NPC. You guys are currently in the East NPC, so I am your area commander. Couple updates for you guys. I know the hot topic is the Hawarden fire. For those of you that don't know, that occurred on July 21st. In total, there were 7 homes destroyed, 11 damaged, 585 acres was damaged. We have been able to, us in conjunction with the fire department, have been able to identify 3 suspects. That case is ongoing. You will probably get a better update from the fire department at tomorrow's meeting. So if you guys can attend that meeting at Orange Terrace, you'll probably get more information about the fire and the response from them. Another update, I don't know if you guys have heard, but we have had a rash of home burglaries, residential burglaries. I know last month I mentioned the same thing. This is completely separate, okay? Some numbers for that, going back to July 10th, we've had 15 residential burglaries. They are mainly centered in Hawarden Hills and Alessandro Heights. Yes. They are targeting those homes. They are targeting people that are out of town, usually for an extended period of time. So I will say that we are working on several leads. We're following up on that. We're also taking some proactive stances, such as surveillance and whatnot, but we are working on, we are trying to identify them. It is a crew. I can't go into a whole lot of detail. I don't think all 15 burglaries are related, but most of them are going to be connected. So I'm hoping that in the next week or so, I can give you guys a better update, but we are aware of the trend, and we are following up on several good leads. And then the last update for our park and neighborhood specialists, we are trying to get 20 more hired, so that would give us a total of 40 for the department, and that would greatly help with some of the patrols and the responses in the parks dealing with the community livability stuff. So that is something that we are currently working on. That is all I have.
Hello, I'm LaShawn Haley. I'm your Community Services Officer, and I just want to announce right now we are working, our department's working on our strategic plan, and so our chief has been asking us to hand out these cards. It has a QR code or there's a website, and we're asking 4 questions. Pretty much, we want you to share your opinions about what our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, any suggestions you have for our department, and any challenges you think that we're facing. So if you're interested, you can fill this out. I did it today, and it is limited to 300 words, which I was disappointed about because I have a lot to say. So I had to go back and delete and figure out what I wanted to say, but the boxes are just like real small, and when you type it keeps going, but it doesn't give you the indication until I try to submit, and then it tells me I had to fix it. So I'll pass these out on the tables. There's no deadline. We don't have a deadline, but we are just actively going out to all of our meetings and trying to get feedback so we can be a better department for you.
Any questions for me? I can answer.
Question here?
Yes.
Where does the department stand as far as being fully staffed?
We are doing really good. We're not currently fully staffed. We're still working on that. We have about 20 trainees in the academy. We have about another 15 that are in the FTO program. And that's on the sworn side. I know we're deficient in some of the civilian personnel, but we are actively hiring. We're doing a lot better. I don't have an exact number for you right now. I apologize. But we're getting pretty close. As long as nobody gets hurt or retired, we should be good. So, yes.
Yeah, how are the burglaries occur in daytime, nighttime, people home?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to narrow down. We're trying to figure that out. The one good thing, I guess, you could say if there's anything good, is a lot of neighbors have surveillance. So we're trying to narrow it down. The problem is a lot of the homeowners are gone over the weekend or on vacation for the summer or whatever the case may be. So we don't find out about the burglary until they call us. So then we have
mostly vacant, vacant.
not vacant, but they're not occupied. Yes, yes. So the only thing I can suggest right now is for you guys just to be a little bit more vigilant on vehicles parked in your neighborhood that maybe don't belong, especially if there's somebody sitting in the vehicle that you don't recognize. Please call us. They do seem sophisticated, and I hate to use that word for these groups, but they are doing their research. Yes, so vehicles that don't belong, you guys don't know, something seems odd, a person walking down the street that just doesn't seem to fit in, please let us know, and we can have somebody go out and check. Maybe nothing, but it may be something, so let us know.
Can we have your cell?
I'm sorry.
You want your direct line?
911. Okay, no, for those of you that want my desk number, I'll give it to you, I have no problem with that, when you guys are ready. 951-826-5149. In all seriousness, please, if you guys have a question or something, don't hesitate to reach out. But if it's something in progress or something that you need handled right away, please call dispatch. Okay? Yes, I will get right on that. Yes. There was something.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is there a common form of entry that they're making into the homes? Is there some habits that you could tell us that we could fortify our residents?
They're breaking in. So yes, a lot of them, and it's not all of them, but a lot of them are smashing windows and sliders. Some are to the front, some are to the back, but that seems to be a very common trend in these burglaries. Don't know if they're using a tool. A lot of times it may just be a rock or something that they can physically just go through, but that does seem to be the trend they're using to make entry. There was something else back here.
I'd like to know, is there a rate for the home invasions in Riverside, the city of Riverside? How many?
I don't have that number. I can tell you in the east we haven't had any home invasions. There is a concern with these burglaries that they could very easily turn into a home invasion should somebody be home. But we don't have, there's no current trend or anything going on to signify that these are going to go to home invasions, and we don't have any currently being investigated. So none's been reported to us. So.
One more question.
Oh.
Hi, I'm really I have a question in regards to our transient population reports, or they just pass to the law.
So we have a few things are supposed to manage and try to get these individuals into services or housing or whatever that they're willing to take.
So just continue to call them?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. 311. All of the 311s go to code enforcement. Code enforcement will distribute it to either the PSET team, which handles public property, or the POP team, which will handle private property. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'll go back to the burglaries again.
Yes.
For those ones that were burglarized, were alarm systems effective as a deterrent?
No. Easy, and the reason why is a lot of the times, and this isn't for every instance, but a lot of times when the alarm goes off, the alarm company will call the homeowner, and the homeowner thinks it's fine, it always goes off, or whatever the case may be, so they're like, hey, don't send the police. So we'll have a day or two delay, they get home and find that their house was burglarized. It does help, but if you guys have alarms, it goes off, even if you think it's false, have us come out. Yes. Yes, sir. And cameras are great, yes.
You had mentioned it's a crew, local, out of the county, out of the country. I have my opinions based on what I've heard and minimal research that I've done, but what's yours?
I can't go into a lot of detail. It is a crew and they are not from...
It's not homegrown?
No.
Okay.
Nothing. Anything else? Uh-oh. Yes.
Trouble again.
Yes.
So, recently there was a Supreme Court decision that overturned the Ninth Circuit, said that you can break up homeless encampments. How has that trickled down to you?
It's aided us in the sense that, so before that case, the law was we couldn't arrest somebody for camping if we didn't have bed space. The law changes that. We don't need to have bed space. So it helps us, but again, camping is an infraction. We can cite them, depending on their history and their cooperativeness, we can book them into jail. They're going to come right back out.
Follow up, does this still mean that we must vote yes for Prop 36?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What they said, yes. I can't tell you guys how to vote, but you guys have all seen the effects that Prop 47 has caused. Something should be changed. Okay, now homelessness isn't something that we can arrest our way out of, but part of Prop 36 is requiring drug treatment, stuff like that. So it would greatly help. You guys vote how you want to vote. I'm not telling you how to vote, but what they said, yes.
Oh, your knees. It's my understanding also, there's a prison in India, 4 stories. 1 floor is being used, 3 floors are vacant. Be a great place to house some of these people, right?
I think so. Some India residents might disagree.
Got enough officers.
It's sitting there vacant, 3 floors.
That's
the county.
yes. That in India was the county, Riverside County, but that's also a state thing with, yeah, with keeping people in prison, yes, that's, yeah. Yes, sir.
Hi, this is addressing the burglary situation. My name is Jay Dyer, and I represent a company called Density USA, and I'd like you guys to go to the densityusa.com site. We're introducing a new technology into the United States that will shut down any burglary, any smash and grab, any in-store robbery within 3 to 5 seconds. The problem with most burglar alarms, they're designed to let somebody know that something is going on. Cameras will let you see. Most people take a lot of effort to make sure that no one gets into their property. This product is the only product on the market that goes into effect once they get in. So you think about it, there's nothing out there that stops them from doing whatever they want to do once they get in. This product turns them around, sends them out within 3 to 5 seconds. And so I'd like you guys to know about it, check it out.
Anything else I can answer? Yes.
Just since you're talking about like the cruise and, cause like, you know, like in Encino where that's a big thing with the cruise, have you guys found like, anyone found cameras like in the bushes and stuff? Cause I know in that area there's a lot of spaces where, cause that's how crews are watching it.
I did hear that story. I have not heard of anything, and the ones that we're looking at now, there's nothing to indicate that they place video cameras or anything like that. It sounds like they're literally doing physical surveillance. They're finding, yeah, they are finding neighborhoods, whatever they feel they're going to get, you know, the biggest bang for their buck, and they are literally sitting. They pick a house. Honestly, it kind of seems random, but they will pick a target, do their surveillance, and then they will hit when they decide to hit. But we have not found any cameras or anything like that. You know. One more question, I'm sorry.
Can I ask a question that's not related to, can you hear me? Yes. I'm gonna ask a question that's not related to home invasions at all. I'm up in Sycamore Canyon neighborhood, and we have a very big problem with people just running red lights, high rates of speed, inappropriate driving, lots of donuts, like, you know, at certain intersections, you can see it on the road. I don't know what the procedure is, or I can't tell, at least going through the city council pages to see what the procedure is for traffic abatement, things like speed bumps, things like adding a light and things like that. But, you know, like my neighbors and I think it's a huge safety issue, because especially now that school's in session, I have my kids in the car. I can't deal with folks like, you know, coming up on our, specifically, this is, the road that goes up to the hills, the Waterville Divide Boulevard, and these folks are going like 40, 50 miles an hour blowing through stop signs, and I don't know if the answer is like traffic abatement, you know, things, or greater police enforcement or what, but I, you know, appreciate any recommendations or next steps.
So I'll make this quick because I think I'm about to get kicked off the mic. All of that is going to start with enforcement and data that comes from the police department, or a large part of it. So any of that needs to be reported to us. You can report it to me, you can report it to the traffic lieutenant, you can 311 it. We'll have officers go out, do their thing, and then we can work with traffic engineering, and they can work on their data, their research, see what type of traffic calming devices they can put in, whether stop sign, the little speed, magnetic looking things, you know, speed humps, whatever the case may be. But really, we need to know so that we can go and get eyes on it and see what the issue is and start there. What was the intersection again? I'm sorry?
It's Lockmore.
Lockmore and?
Lockmore.
Central.
Between Central and Fair.
I hate to be able to this. I mean, I ping ways with a cop every time I pass that intersection. So
I think I'm going to get kicked off right now, so. Anything else I can answer real quick? All right, thank you guys. Thank you.
I was at a meeting down in Casablanca their community meeting, and a police officer there spoke, and he said, everything here in Casablanca is good. There haven't been any burglaries in a while or anything. They're all happening up in Mission Grove. And I said, well, that's where I'm from. He was easy to pass on there. You guys are good down here. Casablanca is nice. No burglaries here. They're all happening up there. So it depends on where you're at. But we do need to be vigilant. And people are driving. I've seen a number of people that pull up to a red light, the light's been red, they wait 5 seconds or so, check to see that no one's going, and they go anyway. Make the left-hand turn. And you know, if you've got a red light and you want to make a right, it's your right of way. That's the way they make right-hand turns on a red light, it's their right of way. I'm just going to make this right-hand turn, you got to get out of my way. So, okay. So, this is where the toxic field was, where we had the meeting with the March Reserve Base. We did ask them also in that meeting about any radiation leaks. And they kind of all looked at each other and went, well, that's not what we're working on. We're just working on the contamination from the jet fuel. But we said, well, what about radiation leaks since they had atomic weapons stored in the bunkers? Well, that's not our part, that's somebody else's part. Well, what if people start glowing in the dark up there that walk around through there, and, you know, what about it? Well, that was some other deal. But one of the things that really surprised me was how they find these areas of contamination. They look at old photos that go back to the 1930s and see if vegetation's dying or there's some weird thing in the thing. Or they have people they interview that used to work there and tell them, oh yeah, we dumped a bunch of stuff over there. And, you know, if you look over there in the South 40, I think you'll find some 50-gallon drums buried over there, because I know I put 3 of them in there. And, you know, that's how they find it out. It wasn't very scientific, the method of finding where there might be stuff dumped. And I said, well, you know, this base has been here since 1918. It's been over 100 years. They've dumped on it, they've digged on it, they've blown it up, they've shot it up, they've turned it up, they've done everything to this land during those 100 years. There's no telling what's buried. And then we brought up the fact that there was a tunnel that went from the bunkers to the flight line. What about that? They didn't make a comment on that. Now, I heard that directly from an old guy that was at one of the meetings, and he used to work there. And he said, oh yeah, there's a tunnel. We used to move the bombs through the tunnel from the bunkers to the flight line because we didn't want the Russian satellites to see us doing it. So there was a tunnel there that got blocked off or something, but who knows if it's still there or whatever. So,
Or how many barrels are stored in the tunnel.
or what's stored in the tunnel, yeah. So, okay, so the Hayward Fire, we were hoping to get someone here to give us a preview of tomorrow, because that's going to be a very important public meeting where they're going to want to hear from the public on how that fire went and so on, and get public comment. There's a lot of stories coming out of this fire. Is there anyone here from that area that experienced the fire? Nobody? Yes? You got something you want to tell us about it? Or?
No, we're on the edge of it.
You were on the edge of it, okay. Well, I did capture some pictures that I found. Here was supposedly, potentially the 3 arson suspects, and some of the homes that were done, and the blazes, the fire got right up. And I know how this was years ago in 1979. There was a fire in San Bernardino, and I experienced that because we were living in the mountains at the time, the Panorama Fire, and that one was big. The houses were literally blowing up before the flames got to them because there was so much heat. So the fire might be here, but 2 doors down, the house was blowing up because the heat was getting there before the flames. So these can really get hot and really move fast. But we understand that there's some issues around the brush being moved, and who was supposed to move the brush, and when were they supposed to move the brush, and who owned what land, and so on. I know that in San Bernardino, in the county area, you had to move your brush back so many feet, and if you didn't move your brush and pine needles back, the county came out and gave you a warning. If you still didn't do it, they came out and cleared it for you and then sent you the bill. That was the way it worked in the San Bernardino Mountains when I was there. You had to keep your brush away from the buildings. Yeah, there's a question over
Same
here.
here.
You live in the county here too, is the same here? Yeah, well, Hayward Fire was in the city, and so it's a different situation from what we understand. So I'm hoping all this is going to come out tomorrow and be able to talk about that more. Yes, sir.
I talked to Chuck Condor, and I know the fire chief is going to be there, but hopefully the fire marshal, who's in charge of preventing this kind of problem, will be there tomorrow. And I left a message with him, and he did say that he gave me a thumbs up, but I think it'd be good for everybody to pressure whoever decides making the decisions to have the fire marshal there.
Right.
Because that's the guy that decides which shrubs need to be cut back and which don't.
Right. Yeah. What's the plan? We need to have a discussion on this because this is kind of a preemptive thing to a major catastrophic event happening in our area. I mean, we've all seen, Rancho Palos Verdes, the ground is basically sinking and moving there. At any time we could have a natural disaster, a man-made disaster. That's why Brian and I took the CERT classes. I just got done taking about 8 of the courses online to be qualified to be an instructor so that we can move forward and create our own little community to prepare ourselves for something that happens where we know who everybody is, we know everyone's background, so we know people that have medical backgrounds, engineering backgrounds, electrical backgrounds, plumbing, and so on, so that we can basically get everything organized quickly and be able to move when something happens within our neighborhood and get ourselves set up. Brian and I were down at the fire station number 9 on Alessandro a week or so ago. Brian, I was going to be, but I'm called out, but we're going to be in the first firemen's, and so is...
Kathy, anybody else sign up for the fire?
Anyone sign up for the Firemen's Academy?
Well, I guess the 2 of us, we'll give you a report.
3 of us were going to go, but I'm out of town going for several weeks over the next month. I've got to go to Europe. All the major catastrophic events that I've looked up and looked at the history on and the dialogue on, the biggest thing that they account for their success was security. Blocking